Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann, and it's just me again, and I'm going to bitch about Gen Z. Yay! My favorite fucking target.
And it begins.
What inspired me this time? I saw a TikTok of a girl who was sitting in front of a TV playing hospital noises while talking on the phone to her boss to try to get out of working. And then her friend comes in and is like, "Excuse me, ma'am, we can see you now." And she's going through all this rigmarole just to get out of a single shift. And I said to myself, one, she's a lazy cunt, and I hope she falls down the stairs and breaks both of her legs. And secondly, I thought, why is it that she can put all this effort and creativity into trying to get out of work, but not, like, get a job that pays better based upon her skills and ability to, like, logic out a scheme of to get what she wants? And thirdly, I thought, how fucking stupid is this bitch that she's putting it on the internet? And that's the biggest takeaway here, other than that she's a lazy cunt. Because there's a lot of lazy cunts in the Gen Z age group, and they like to come up with all kinds of bullshit excuses why they can't show up today. Some of the best I've heard is taking a mental health day because their cat is sick and they're really depressed that they might die. Now, I've had pets die, and it's hard, but you're an adult, and you need money to survive, and your job most likely relies upon you to show up to perform the task that you were hired to do so that they can achieve a greater goal with your production involved in that grand equation. What blew me away the most about this is that she is putting this on the internet, and I'm assuming expecting no consequences or not to get caught, and she's going to ha laugh, and she's going to tell her friends and some coworkers, and it's going to get back to her boss, and her dumb bitch ass is going to get fired for this. So you got some likes and some quick internet fame for being a lazy cunt, and now you're a jobless lazy cunt who still has bills. Whoops!
Oh my God, could you imagine?
It brings to mind the adage, loose lips sink ships, or no witnesses, no proof, or if you want to get away with something, don't tell anyone you did it. Okay? That's something that drives me nuts about these fucking kids with their goddamn phones, recording everything and putting it on fucking social media because they want attention. They want to be validated by their peers so they can feel good about themselves because the entirety of their self-confidence is built upon the opinions of other people.
Oh, bitch.
This is fucking ignorant. If you want to feel good about yourself, put in a hard day's work, and then people will tell you how good you are at your job, and you're like, holy shit, is this what a sense of accomplishment is? I should do this more often. Nah, let's just sit here and prop up my phone and take a video of me being a lazy cunt. So those mantras that I rattled off, unfortunately, are tied to a lot of criminalistic thinking, but in general, let's say that you bought some cookies, and then you ate them all yourself and didn't share them with your kids. Just don't tell them you bought cookies, and then they'll never get pissed at you for buying them and not fucking sharing. Or maybe you steal some money from somebody who's a piece of shit, and then, you want to buy stuff with it. Don't buy anything flashy. Like, that's why so many people that win the lottery go broke, because they start, flexing that wealth and buying all these things they shouldn't buy, and people realize it, and then they get preyed upon by sponges that just want to take your money. Like, dude, if you can get that money, and then don't tell anybody you did it. I realize this is bad advice, technically, because I'm encouraging you to do something shitty, but let's say there's a tax break that you can get, and it's very iffy, but you're the only one who knows that you're fudging the information, so you roll the dice, you take a gamble, you lie on your taxes a little, you save some money. Well, if you don't tell people you did it, you'll probably never get audited, and as long as the rest of your math looks good, you'll be fine.
What?
I know, I'm being naughty and I'm encouraging you to do bad things. Well, if you're going to go to all the trouble of fucking playing a video of hospital noises to get out of a single shift, come the fuck on. You have at least enough cognition and ability to be sneaky to get away with bigger things or to apply yourself in a more positive and creative fashion to gather more wealth. Like, there's no way that this girl is only good at lying this way. She's got to be an expert fucking liar if she came up with this. It's more or less I'm pissed off at the arrogance and audacity of doing it for something as simple as skipping work for one day and then putting it on the internet like, ha ha ha, look at how fucking great I am. That bitch deserves to get caught and suffer consequences. If you would have simply done it and then told no one and then laughed about that shit until after you quit the job and then put the video out, then sure. Then it can't come back to bite you in the ass most likely, unless you're attaching your fucking real name to it and then prospective of future employers are Googling you and are like, holy shit, look at this bitch. Fuck her. She's a lazy cunt. And I think another good example would be, let's say that you had a family member that made a painting. It was this wonderful fucking oil painting. And then they just kind of forgot about it in their attic. And then they died, and you yourself like to paint. Well, you practice making something like it, and you're not quite there. And then you just tell people, it's your own. And then they're like, holy shit, that's awesome. Now, I hope it doesn't turn into an episode of a 1980s sitcom where you sell it for big money, and then you have to admit that you didn't do it, and then you get fucked out of that money and the painting, and everybody thinks you're a piece of shit. But, I mean, if you could do it and get away with it, wouldn't you? So I get the ingenuity of what she's going for, but stop putting so much on the internet. Because it's very ironic to me that these kids, these fucking late teens and early 20-somethings, they can go on social media and share the entirety of their personal life with their own thoughts and feelings, putting a very self-aggrandizing slant on it so they never look like anything other than super great or a victim. But then in reality, when they have a problem, they don't know how to handle it themselves, or they don't know how to go to a teacher, a counselor, or a parent. They'll tell all these fucking people on, I don't know, Instagram or something, hey, here's what I'm going through, here's this picture, fucking feel bad for me. You just want to share it so that you can feel included, and people will say, oh, you poor thing, so you can feel like somebody gives a shit because you get some weird sick high out of it, as opposed to going to your parents and explaining the problem, and then they give you advice based upon other people's experiences or their own, and then you learn a lesson, and then apply that knowledge, and then you're better off, right? You could open up to human beings in real life, or you can be a useless, socially awkward, lazy cunt who sits in front of a TV screen playing fucking hospital sounds and then having your friend pretend to be a nurse so you two can high-five and go get iced coffees and then play around on your phones while you sit next to each other, quote, hanging out, but in reality, you're just in a screen in the online world, not fucking existing for anything meaningful. That pisses me off to no end, that you will not engage people in real life, you will not try to better yourself, you will not try to be responsible, you'll just be a lazy cunt who complains on a screen to other people staring at screens. They'll be like, oh, you poor thing. And you're like, yay, people feel bad for me, I get attention. Or, oh, ha 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 ha, I'm so much smarter than my boss because I figured out a way to fuck him over, and I told other people that told me I'm so good at fucking him over. No, you're a stupid, lazy cunt that doesn't know how to keep your fucking mouth shut. I mean, if I had a deep, dark secret and I had to tell somebody in the 16 to 28-year-old age range, holy shit, would I second guess giving them any information at all? Because they're just going to go blab about it on the internet and say, my friend said this, and oh my God, they're such a piece of shit. And I thought we were friends, or that I could trust you with my privacy, or that I told you this in confidence, but then you're going to go blab it to everybody like a fucking online Rona Barrett, and you're just going to do it so they can be like, ha 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 with you, and you can have some cheap laughs and feel included and have a sense of accomplishment that you don't deserve from an actual accomplishment that means fuck all. Now, an example of the whole no witnesses, no proof one that I said, well, years ago, I was at a certain place driving with a friend, and we were going the wrong way down a parking lane. And I tried to turn into a spot at his advisement, and I hit a parked car. And I panicked, and he's like, go, 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 go. I'm like, what do you mean I hit this car? He's like, go, 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 no one saw us. So we left, and I hit this parked car, and I dented their door. And I felt like a giant asshole, but I also felt a sense of relief that I didn't fucking report it or get any sort of insurance boost from having this fender bender. Now, I'm not going to tell you where it happened. I'm not going to tell you when it happened. I'm not going to tell you what city or state it was in, because it might not even have been here, because I've been to a few states. I'm not going to tell you who was with me. I'm just going to say that it happened, be as vague as possible, and hope for the best. Or maybe I made it all up. Who knows? I haven't given you any identifying information where you could trace it back to me, and you couldn't prove it, that I didn't just make it up for the sake of this example right now. But again, if you shut the fuck up, well, then you're fine. But back to the bigger overarching point here. I want all these attention-hungry Gen Z idiots to realize you don't have to put every aspect of your life up on your social media for other people to fucking digest, to tell you how great that you are. Because in reality, they're probably not paying attention to the bulk of what you're saying. They're just giving it a quick passing glance and then clicking the like. And you're thinking, I'm popular. No, you're fucking not. You just have other people that are, quote, friends that are giving you pity likes or half-assed whatevers. And you're equating that to success or popularity. Just shut the fuck up. If you're going to do dirt, be smart about it and shut the fuck up. And don't go bragging to people about the dirt that you did. The most successful thieves are the ones that did it on their own, and they controlled all the aspects of everything that went on with this in their game plan, and they had no loose ends to tie up with other crew members that could potentially spill the beans. Further example, and I'm not going to name names, but I knew a guy who was involved in a robbery. It's more like a burglary, but either way, some money was taken. And there were multiple people involved, and one of them did some bragging, and then it got back to the person that they robbed or burgled the money from, and then they got in trouble, and then they got jail time, and then they had to pay huge fucking fines. If just one person would have done it and shut the fuck up, they could have had that money, squirreled it away, and slowly spent it over time. You would have gotten away with it. And I get that that's not the type of person I portray myself as glorifying that kind of chicanery, but I like to play devil's advocate. Now, for the love of God, nobody sit here and be like, well, if I drug a girl and then I don't tell her that I drugged her and I fuck her while she's unconscious, but she doesn't know we had sex, I get away with it, right? No, fuck you, hang yourself. That's fucking bullshit. We're talking about crimes where shitty people get one worked over on them who deserve it, but then you don't tell anybody and you get away with it, and it's like, yeah. Like if you were to take somebody's toothbrush, for instance, and rub it on your butthole and then rinse it off and then put it back in the toothbrush holder and never tell anybody you did it. You would have the satisfaction of knowing that you put your booty germs in their mouth and they had shitty breath and you did it, but then they wouldn't know it was you or that it happened and you couldn't get in trouble for it. You take that shit to the grave and you laugh your ass off every time you think about it, as long as you don't fucking tell anybody. You especially don't hop on social media and then tell everyone, oh, I have this person that I really don't like, and I have access to their toothbrush, and then I took it, and I rubbed it on my butthole, and then I rinsed it off. I put a little toothpaste on, and I rubbed it in the sink, and then I rinsed it off so it would be like butthole and toothpaste, but they'd mostly smell the toothpaste instead of the butthole, and then I got away with doing it. Now, I have to prove that I'm not a total degenerate fuck here, so here's a story. Somebody parked a bike by a light pole in my neighborhood that was like in an alley. And it sat there for days and nobody did nothing with it. So then I waited one night till the cover of darkness, and then I put on all black clothes like it was the fucking Great Muppet Caper, and I went and grabbed the bike, and I stashed it behind my house. And then I went to bed, and I had a dream that my boss pulled me into his office and said that the cops were investigating something that they thought that I did, and I had this total telltale heart moment, and then I woke up, took a piss, went out back, got the bike, put it back, came back home, went to bed, woke up the next day, felt so much better. Next day, bike was fucking gone. Maybe it was a plant by the cops looking for bike thieves and I evaded it, or maybe somebody else was just as shitty of a person as I attempted to be, but didn't have the conscience to just skip taking the bike. And since then, I've learned that people will leave bikes at the end of their driveway marked free, and that's how you can get a free bike. Now, in closing, as much as I rip on Gen Z for being stupid and running their mouth, I have a history of being stupid and running my mouth. Like, I've spray painted things in places and told people, and then parents of me or my friends found out, and I got in trouble for it. Or I've talked about, in high school, wiping my butt and then taking that first poopy wiping and then smearing it on the wall and making a smiley face and poop. Or writing Class of 2000 rules on a piece of paper and drawing a cock and balls on it, and doing that 4 times on a piece of loose leaf paper, folding it, quartering it, and sticking them in 4 different lockers, and then laughing when they make an announcement that somebody's been putting inappropriate notes in random lockers and it needs to stop. See, I just brought it up again. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for it. But then again, this is like 23 to 11,000 years ago. Who knows? I'm not sure.
Are you threatening me?
Just be advised that if you're going to be a lazy cunt, don't put it on the internet because it'll come back to bite you. Don't be a crooked piece of shit and then brag about all the dirt you do, because you will get caught by some other piece of shit who gets caught doing something and then says, not so fast. Let me off with a slap on the wrist if I gave you 2 other people that did some fucked up shit. And then they do, and you get in trouble, and they do not so much. It's all about doing the dirt and shutting your fucking mouth about it, okay? You little pricks. Stay off the fucking internet with all the bad shit that you do, because you're going to get caught. Because if you don't tell the world you did it, nobody with a conscience is going to go, oh, this motherfucker needs to pay, and then find a way to contact the authorities and identify you. Okay? No witnesses, no proof, loose lips, sink ships. If you want to get away with something, don't tell anyone you did it. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann. And that's the end.